I hate the Game Awards. That's not entirely true. I do like the idea of them, and I do kind of respect Jeff for doing this like whole big thing, but like at the end of the day, it's really not a great award show. There's like no rules to the awards. It's just like a trailer dump, and it feels like they don't really care about the actual awards. It's just about getting sponsor money and showing us trailers for things that we've already seen plenty of times in the past. It's not my favorite award show ever. However, it doesn't mean I'm gonna abandon the Game Awards. It's not like I'm not gonna watch them or care about them. I love the Oscars, and I love looking at the precursors and the history and trying to figure out what's gonna get nominated. And then you get like that personal attachment to the stuff, and then so you've got this like fun dichotomy between what you know is going to happen and what you know is going to play with the industry and what you like and what you hope to happen. That's a really fun time. So even though the Game Awards don't have much of a through line, like it's not a very interesting award season or race, what's going to win, you probably know is going to happen like months in advance. This hasn't stopped me from not looking at the data and kind of trying to figure out what typically gets nominated and typically wins. It's fun. I do something on my Discord every year where I have people guess the nominees for Game of the Year. It's a ton of fun. You should try it out when it rolls around next year. Link down below. Shameless plug. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to run through the Game of the Year nominations, and I'm going to tell you what I want to win, what I think is probably going to win, and what I would have put in here if I were to choose. Pretty simple. Let's go ahead. We're going to start from the back forwards, and I'm also going to cut out categories that I don't really care about, like the esports stuff. It's just, I don't really care. I don't know if I'm alone here, if other people agree with me, but when I look at the most anticipated games category, it looks bad to me. There's just a couple of games that like I don't really care about. I haven't played the prior games, and like they're just not up my alley. And there's a couple of just random sneaks in here, TBH. I say a couple, let's just talk about it. 007 First Light. I was excited for it, and then they showed off that like first initial trailer, and I'm like, you're gonna have to win me back on that. I was not super impressed from what I saw, but like I'm here to work with IO. I really like the Hitman games, so if they can deliver, I'm happy. The rest of these, like, I've never played a GTA so far, so I don't really care. Obviously, it's a big event. Like, it's gonna win because it's coming out next year, as they say. Wolverine, like, I've played all the Spider-Man games. I've platted all the Spider-Man games just because I love Spider-Man, but I really only like the first one. The rest are just okay. And I'm afraid Wolverine is going to be just like another, like, yeah, that's a good game. People like it. I like it at the end, but I'm not going to be blown away. And I'm afraid that I'm not going to be blown away by Wolverine. And The Witcher 4, I've really tried to get into The Witcher 3. It's really tough. I'm going to try again before The Witcher 4 comes out, but I'm going to say probably, not my most anticipated. Mine, obviously, is going to be Resident Evil Requiem. Of course it is. I love Resident Evil. It's coming out super soon. I feel like that we don't talk about that enough, about like, hey, I'm really excited for Resident Evil because it comes out in 2 months rather than, a year or maybe a nebulous amount of time more. I'm really excited for Resident Evil. That is like my vote completely. Best multiplayer, I don't have much to say. I didn't play Arc Raiders, Battlefield, or Peak. I have played Split Fiction. I will save my thoughts on that until a little later. This is an obvious Elden Ring Night Rain for me. This is like top 5 game of the year. I really fell in love with this. My friends and I have really been enjoying it. The DLC just came out and it's really tough and totally reshapes how we thought about how we played the game. It's great. I love Night Rain so much. It's like speed running with your friends. It's so cool. I will always vote for Night Rain. I am always going to be championing. Let's run through this. Championing. I'm going to be rooting for Night Rain. Best sports game, also not much to say. I've only played Mario Kart, and I like Mario Kart. And I know a lot of people have been giving it a lot of flack recently, really since it came out. Guys, it is a really, really good game at the end of the day. It's got some big problems, but I can kind of not like overlook them, but look past it in the face of what the game gets right. So yeah, I love Mario Kart. I'm voting Mario Kart. I find best family game to be an odd category because there are a couple of games that sometimes show up that are like one player. Donkey Kong. I know it has a 2-player mode, but it's primarily a 1-player game. And I think about it and I'm like, why would that ever be a family game? A lot of parents have said that they play Donkey Kong with their kid and they like really like it. You know, it's something that they can like pass the controller and have a lot of fun. So I kind of get it, you know, I totally understand. Like, it's easy to enjoy, other people can get in on it. I do think it's good to expose kids to like single player stuff, you know, more so than just like handing them multiplayer, God forbid handing them Roblox or something like that, and just let them like play and experience something for themselves and figure it out by themselves, and not have like the pressure of like competition or anything like that, or like having to play with other people. Like, just like explore. And I think Donkey Kong is like the perfect exploration game for like a family, like a kid. So even though like I like Mario Kart and it kind of makes more sense, I'm gonna pick Donkey Kong. I actually think that Donkey Kong is super deserving of this one. Best fighting game, I am just gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna vote for Tuco. I feel like it's the only like full fighting game that people are really excited about, have been playing. I know City of the Wolves has a bit of a fan base, but it feels like it really hasn't picked up like it was supposed to. In my opinion, if you launch a game with 2 celebrities in your roster, you are admitting that you don't have much to go off of. Like, you don't really have that much confidence in your product, in your game, because you have to like rely on these outside things to sell the package. You know what I mean? Not to say City of the Wolves is actually bad, but I think it looks like a really bad outside looking in type of deal. And just so we're clear, I feel the exact same about Sonic Racing Crossroads, wherever that game is, with all the collabs that they revealed before the game even came out, with all their DLC packs also just being like all collab stuff. You're a Sonic game. Stop pretending like you aren't. So yeah, this is Tuco. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I like it a lot. Best RPG, I've only played Monster Hunter and Clair Obscur. I have Kingdom Come Deliverance on that wish list. I will probably get it for Christmas and I'll play it. I think it's undeniable here. It's Clair Obscur. I liked Monster Hunter fine enough. I love Monster Hunter as a series, but I think Wilds is the least favorite of the ones that I've played. And I've played like 4 or 5, maybe like 5 or 6. I can't even remember. Yeah, I mean, it's Clair Obscur. Like, you can't really deny it. Now, as an RPG, I think Kingdom Come Deliverance is like your RPG, even more so than Avowed and the Outer Worlds. So people are saying like, yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance is going to win. What are we talking about? Games only win over other games if it's close, or they're not going to win Game of the Year. Like, I know Metroid won Action Game over Deathloop, but Deathloop didn't actually win Game of the Year. So it wasn't really like that, you know, crazy. Action Adventure, I think, is the only category so far that I've played everything here. So I'll give you some greater thoughts, because these are like some heavy hitters, right? I like Death Stranding 2 a lot. I really loved it when I was playing it. Afterwards, I kind of didn't feel as good about it because I had just played the original Death Stranding, and I found that to be a lot more like endearing, you know, more so than this one. This one is fun. It's a nice, fun sandbox, but it's not really what I'm looking for. And I really like the old like Death Stranding idea. I wish they expanded more into making the story and the narrative a little more coherent and better, rather than changing up the gameplay. I did have a lot of fun with this one, obviously, but I'm not as high on it as I once was. This is the first time we're seeing Ghost of Yotei, and I need to make it clear. I do not like Ghost of Yotei at all. I don't like Tsushima. I thought Tsushima was super overrated, and when Yotei came out and it was just Tsushima again, basically, I was just kind of a little like pissed off. I was like, the combat is really boring and basic, and it's kind of fake in my opinion. There's not really much to the different weapons. They all feel very similar. At least the most effective strategies on them feel very similar, and I think that is a total like letdown. I think the aesthetic, while at first glance is really interesting, as you dive in, they don't really do much with it, and Ghost of Yotei really misunderstands why samurai movies work. Ghost of Yotei just really doesn't get why a Kurosawa film, like why the blocking matters, why the framing matters, why any of that actually matters. It just is so superficial in it trying to copy it that it just comes out the other side with nothing to say, nothing new to add, and it's just like, oh look, you like Kurosawa, not like this man. So yeah, I don't like Yotei. Not picking it. I played Indiana Jones last year when it came out, and I really liked it. I was really impressed by what they did. I think there are some things that like didn't quite hit with me. It feels kind of like Dishonored light. Like, I feel like the actual game mechanics leave a little to be desired. In the immersive sim genre, I feel like this one just doesn't hold a candle to the other ones I've played, even though it was still a good time. I did actually really like how the story captured the essence of Indiana Jones really well, and I think Troy Baker is really good too. The game is cool, I'm glad I played it, but not really like my pick here. Okay, Split Fiction. I don't even like It Takes Two. But Split Fiction really does just feel like they did the exact same formula yet again with somehow an even worse narrative. I find it so ironic that it's a game about preserving creativity and not letting big companies meddle in with the art. And then everything in this game, like all the worlds and the stories they come up with, is just the most generic, boring. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work for me. The characters are annoying. The plot is just really basic, apart from the really good sequence at the end. And of course, like, the gameplay is good. Obviously, I think they are really good at level design. I don't find Split Fiction to be very endearing, and I didn't like my time with it. It's too long. These multiplayer games from Hazelight are just too long. It's too long. It's too hard to communicate with somebody else to sit down and play a game for 12 hours total, where you have to be on the same page the whole time. You can't let somebody come in, somebody else pick up afterwards. No, you have to play this whole 12-hour story from front to back together. I feel like that is way too much of an ask, especially when the narrative is just not going to be anything spectacular. So of course I'm going to go with Hollow Knight Silksong here. I love Silksong. I love Hollow Knight. I like Silksong even more. I really, really like what it did here, and I cannot believe it didn't get nominated for game direction, because I think this is some of the strongest game direction to basically go, hey, you know, all this stuff that people don't like in their video games, I'm putting it in the video game, and it's going to make it 10 times better for it. Run backs and hard difficulty and just literally all that stuff. It's a magnificent piece of work. I love Silksong so much. Obviously has my vote. Best action game, I have only played Doom and Hades 2, and Doom is a big letdown. I love Eternal. Eternal is one of my favorite games of all time, and Doom the Dark Ages I feel like doesn't quite understand the formula as well, and the parry mechanic just kind of was way too easy and just kind of took over the whole combat. And while it's fun and while it's cool, I feel like this game tried to be something that it shouldn't have been. This story-focused, kind of open-ended game didn't quite work out like they wanted it to. Didn't hit for me like it should have as like a really big Doom fan. Oh, Hades 2. Hades 2, I love you. It's such a refinement on the formula. It is so good. Like, I actually really, really love this game. Is the story like a little less interesting than the first one? Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere to top that. Like, the narrative of Hades is just so good, so strong, that foundation. But this game is awesome. There's so much to it. There's so much about it. All the new designs, all the new routes and stuff to do, all the new boons, all the new builds. Like, it's great. It's such a good game. Obviously, it gets my vote. For debut indie and regular indie, we do have to talk about the elephant in the room here, Clair Obscur. Now, yes, Clair Obscur is technically an independently developed game, and its budget isn't even that high overall, but we need to talk about the purpose of these categories. The purpose of having an indie category, or really like a genre category, something that like only certain games qualify for, is to make sure that some games get the recognition that they deserve. It's no secret that there is a AAA bias in the Game Awards, right? Super popular bias as well. But if you go, hey, all these big games, your Death Strandings, your Ghost of Yotes, you are not eligible here. We want to show off what these other people are doing, where not many people played these games, or comparatively to the big releases with big marketing budgets, right? We want to show it off to other people. That's what the point of these awards is, right? With that being said, Clair Obscur is winning Game of the Year. It's a frontrunner. It might win everything it's nominated for. Why is it in the indie categories? That's not what they're for. I truly think that they need to reevaluate the rules here. There are no rules, but they need to create rules and say, hey, if you're nominated for Game of the Year, you're not allowed to be in the indie categories. Hey, if your budget is X amount, you're not allowed to be here. I feel like that's a fair trade, because it totally misses the point of what these categories are about when you get Game of the Year frontrunners in it. With that being said, I love Blueprints. I adore Blueprints. I think this game is so cool, so unique. I would have loved to seen this in game direction, but it only got here and regular indie game, which sucks. I'm going Blueprints all the way. This game is phenomenal. Now for indie game, obviously, Clair Obscur also here, Hades 2 and Silksong also in Game of the Year. I'm going to go ahead just because Clair Obscur is like such a force to be reckoned with. I'm going to vote Silksong here as well, even though I know I just said that I don't really want Game of the Year nominees here. I feel like it feels worse for the Game of the Year frontrunner to just completely sweep every category, so I'd rather there be some kind of shakeup. And I do think some people are not going to want to vote Clair Obscur, specifically in this category, because a lot of people have played Hades 2 and Silksong, not as many people have played Blueprints, and, you know, I guess Dispatch is pretty popular, but I would vote Silksong here just to, you know, put some competition to Clair Obscur. So here we're getting to the categories that I have a lot more thoughts about, like the nominees and like what isn't actually here. So let's talk about the performances, because Clair Obscur has some really good performances. The problem with Clair Obscur, excuse me, in my opinion, is that the mocap animation and like the lip syncing and everything, and it's an indie game, that's fine that it's not like this, but it's not really up to the standard that you would want. Personally, I find it hard to connect with those performances when I've got this weird disconnect between what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing. You know, when I look at something like Death Stranding, I see those performances in this super high fidelity models, these really clean animations that match really well, that let the performance breathe, you know? You forget sometimes that you're looking at a model or a game and you're just watching an actor. That is really good. I don't want to say that the Clair Obscur cast didn't do a good job, because I think they all do, but it was harder for me to connect with their performances than it was for other people rather, in this lineup, or not even in this lineup. With that being said, Ben Starr is really good. I expect he's going to win. Jennifer English also could win. I think she's pretty good as well. Charlie Cox should not be here. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, but he was only in the studio for like 4 hours, and like, that's awesome, right? No. No, it's not. It's really kind of like embarrassing that they're like, oh, Charlie Cox, he put one of the best performances of the year. He put no effort in, and he was good. I don't know, man. Like, you're just kind of putting a name in here just for no reason. And then there's like the whole thing about like, well, he's like the voice actor, not the body actor. And then that's a whole other thing that I don't know how they're going to like try and tackle in the future. They probably won't. They're just going to, whoever the voice was, they're going to go with it. Erika Ishii kind of sucks and goes to Yote. No hate to them. I just don't think they put on a very good performance, and I was not very moved by them. Didn't like it very much. I honestly really don't think they should be here. Konatsu Kato, I hope that's her correct pronunciation of that name, is great in Silent Hill F. I actually think she does a really, really good job, and I'm really glad to see her here. I would vote for her. I actually honestly think I might vote for her. I might swap my vote, because I was going to vote for Troy Baker, because I think he does a really good job getting the idea of what Harrison Ford Indiana Jones is without actually doing like a super impression of him. Like, I actually think it's a really good choice for him to not just try to be Harrison Ford. Like, he is, like, super close to him. Like, he feels like you're watching Harrison Ford, but you aren't. If you ever, like, look at them side by side, he's kind of, like, got his own thing going. I think he does a really, really good job there. With all that being said, no Hades voice actors. You nominate Logan Cunningham back for the first one, and I feel like there are so many more people who do a really good job in this one as well. The main voice for Melunui, the main voice for Hecate, I think, is really good as well. Where are any of them? Why are we nominating 3 people from the same game? One guy who went in the studio for 4 hours, and not nominating any of the actual voice talent. Everyone here is an actor, a voice actor, whatever. But do we have this bias against if you don't do like a mocap, then it doesn't count? Guess what? Charlie Cox didn't do a mocap. In fact, I don't know if the rest of the Clair Obscur team did too. I don't know if they did their own mocap or not. I don't know. Where are the voices? Where are the voices, man? They're part of this as well. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, like, where's Dispatch, whatever. I haven't played Dispatch. Also, it came out way too late. That's kind of why it's not here. I would love to see at least one Hades 2 performance. The Death Stranding performances, I could kind of take or leave. They're pretty good. Troy Baker is probably the best performance too, but I think this is a better nomination here. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Konatsu Kato. I think that's my final pick. Audio design this year feels pretty standard to me. There's always like a military, like either a COD or a battlefield. There it is. Clair Obscur just gets everything. It's got good sound effects. I'm not going to deny it that. Death Stranding 2 has really good sound. I mean, a lot of it was built from the first one, but we'll take it. Ghost of Yote, come on, guys. I feel like I feel like there've got to be better picks here. Like I cannot imagine that Ghost of Yote really was the one that you had to go for here. I actually think maybe some of the sounds in like Donkey Kong this year were pretty good, but whatever, sure. And I think Silent Hill F is a really, really inspired choice here. It is a horror game. It makes more sense that it'd be here, but I'm glad to see Silent Hill getting the love that it deserves because it is a really, really good game. If I had to pick for audio design, I don't know if I would pick Silent Hill here. I think I'm just going to pick Death Stranding, but I feel like people are going to vote down their ballot and just do Clair Obscur, and it's going to piss me off. So we'll see. Score music is a good category this year. These first three, you've got Silksong, which has an incredibly good score. You've got Hades 2, which has, it's similar to the first one, but the new tracks are all incredible. I remember them all. They're really awesome. And then you've got Clair Obscur, which I undeniably, best soundtrack of the year. I mean, like, they do some stuff, crazy beats that they start off with. Like, these songs are so unique. They go places. They're all super good. They're all incredibly special. Like, it's a great soundtrack. You cannot deny Clair Obscur here, regardless of what you think of it. If you think it's a masterpiece, or if you're not as hot on it like some people, the soundtrack is just like really, really good. What's Ghost of Yote doing here, man? I know she plays the Shamisen. I do not care. What is Ghost of Yote doing here? In a similar vein, Death Stranding 2, the music wasn't as memorable, but it's also like for soundtracks. So like if you have licensed music, that counts, which is so stupid. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that? That is stupid. Okay. I would definitely put Donkey Kong in here. I feel like Donkey Kong, like, how does Donkey Kong get overlooked here? I legitimately don't understand, because I feel like it's like a perfect inclusion. Its soundtrack is super good. It's kind of invisible because like I feel like it just plays into like Donkey Kong is super fast and like frantic, so a lot of times you aren't paying attention to it, but if you ever just slow down and listen, it's so great. It's so good. Mario Kart also has a really good soundtrack, but you know, it's a lot of remixes and stuff, and that hasn't stopped some franchises before. Final Fantasy, I wouldn't like, I don't know, I could take it or leave it. You know, I know a lot of people really want it in there. I, you know, don't really mind either way. Of course, I'm going to pick Clair Obscur. I feel like you have to, like, there's no denying it. We have the exact same nominees for art direction, and this is where I want to throw out Ghost of Yote, because I feel like, again, they just really don't understand what makes samurai movies tick, and they're just really superficial, but whatever, I'm not going to talk about that. Death Stranding 2 has really good environmental design, really good, like, realistic environments that really sell the mood and, like, make it, they're really perilous, right? Like, the scale and the scope of these environments is really sold by all the little attention to detail to the environments. I do think this is deserved here. Clair Obscur, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's literally about painting, for God's sakes, and there's so many cool enemies and people, and they all have their own unique flair, even though they're all in like the same costume. Great. It's great. It's great. It wins. It wins. It's allowed to win. It's okay. It's gonna win. Hades 2 has all the new designs and the new areas and everything. They're all lovely. Hollow Knight is the same way. New designs, new areas. Even though they're both kind of in similar styles from the first game, they're all really good work from all the new stuff they add. You can't deny them here. If I were to put anything in here, Keeper. Keeper has an incredibly unique, interesting art style. So much better than Ghost of Yote, I would say. I would totally throw this in here. I can't believe Keeper completely blanked. I think that really sucks. It's a good game. You should give it a try. It's only like 4 or 5 hours long. Try Keeper. It's good. Best narrative. Clair Obscur is going to win. Let's put it out there. No denying it. I think Clair Obscur's narrative, and this is a me problem. Most people don't think this. I struggled to get engaged with it, and I didn't really care about the opening. Okay? I didn't care about the opening. I was not hooked. In fact, I didn't start getting hooked until the end, and by that point it was too late for me to really get invested in the emotion, so I didn't really care. Sorry. Death Stranding 2, it's not great. It's okay. It's better than the first, but it's still like Kojima just kind of doesn't really understand how to make a fully fledged narrative that you're going to want to be invested in. Like, yeah, he's got themes and like he's got a decent opening, but the rest of it is, it's just not much that I really cared about, even though I played this whole thing and I liked this game a lot. I just didn't really care for the narrative. Ghost of Yote, get the fuck out of here, man. Worst narrative all year. God, it is so bad. Well, it's actually not the worst narrative all year because Split Fiction exists, but I hated it. I hated it. I think this is such a sneak. What the hell is this doing in here? Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I can't say anything about because I've never played it. And Silent Hill F, I really liked. I think Silent Hill F has a great narrative, and it's really interesting. It's unique. from the other Silent Hills and everything else in this category. I loved it. I really liked what they did with Silent Hill. What I want to say is, why is this best narrative and not best writing? Because so many games don't have a traditional narrative, but they have really good writing. Even if they don't have any dialogue, just like world building and everything like that. That's writing. You know, there are some games that have bad narratives, but good writing. I know Elden Ring got nominated for narrative, but it has a bad narrative. It has like a nothing narrative. It's barely a narrative, but it has really good writing. You know what I mean? Silksong, 100% should be here. What an interesting idea. What a really fun, like, the gameplay systems meshing with like the ideas it's trying to sell about like the Citadel and like the capitalist parts of it. Like, it's so cool. It's so interesting. Also, hey guys, you forgot about the most righty one in here, Hades 2. There's text on the screen at all times. Guys, where? Why Ghost of Yotei? Pissing me off. I vote Silent Hill F here. I think I would vote Silent Hill F regardless, but I vote Silent Hill F here. Game direction, don't piss me off, man. Ghost of Yotei back. It's the same game as the first one. No new improvements. What are we doing? What are we doing? We just made it easier. We made the exploring the island. You're not even exploring the island. The island comes to you and said, look at my thing, look at my thing, look at my thing. There's no exploration. There's nothing organic. God. Split Fiction also being here. I think Split Fiction is super safe. Gameplay wise, really good level design. In fact, I'm surprised that there's not like a level design or like game design type like award. Split Fiction has really good design, but I think its overall direction is really safe, and I don't think that is creative or innovative. The ending sequence is great, but the rest of the game just doesn't do it for me. Death Stranding 2, it's Kojima. I mean, like, can you deny Kojima? I would this year. I don't know if I would like super agree with this, just because like I talked about, it's a safer sequel. It's like a lot more palatable, and I don't think that's what Death Stranding should be about. Clair Obscur, it's a small team. They got this super big, like what seemingly high budget game, super dense, packed on a small team, small budget. That's good game direction. Good on them. I'm glad they're here. Hades 2, refinement. That is the name of the game. The formula is so refined. It is really good to take what worked and then tweak the things that didn't and make an even better product at the end of the day. One that has much more going on, much more moving pieces, and they all work. And the gameplay loop and like interacting with the systems after you beat the game is like even more fun than the first one. Hades 2, that's my pick for sure. Now, what should be here? Hollow Knight Silksong. Hollow Knight Silksong has best direction of the year. Are we kidding? Are we kidding? It makes such big, bold choices that all pay off. I'm feeling emotions the entire time I'm playing this game because the game is fighting back with me, and then I overcome those challenges. Man, like, how is Silksong not here? How did they put Ghost of Yotei here? I can't, I'm losing my mind. I talked about it earlier. I'd like to shout out Blueprints here as well. I think it's a really new, unique gameplay loop, something super cool that I think has gone super overlooked in the Game Awards in general. A lot of people were predicting it for Game of the Year, and it just kind of blanked everywhere else. Damn shame. And I also want to shout out Donkey Kong. You know, it's this sandboxy style, but I think the level design is so incredibly fine-tuned to let you mess around and get to know your stuff. But as you go through these worlds, they continually get more interesting, more complex. They force you to use all of your stuff more and more. And it's a game that gets more memorable the more you go along to this incredibly great finale. And that is such a good curve. You know what I mean? Like, the early game, you're just fun. You're having fun with the new mechanics. There's not much going on, but you're having a great time. As you start, like, you know, the early stuff is kind of wearing off. That's when the game starts hooking you with that good level design, those good new areas, and then you just have a knockout finale. That's amazing game direction. Ghost of Yotei is here. Fuck. Game of the year. So I think you've probably gathered my thoughts on most of these as we've gone along. Sucks that I wasn't able to play Kingdom Come Deliverance in time. I'll try to play that at the beginning of next year. For me, it's between Hollow Knight and Hades 2. I've just played Hades 2. I played it in alpha for a little bit, and then like I just stopped because I wanted to play full release, and I just finished it. So there was a little bit of recency bias there, but really when I think about what game affected me the most, what game I think actually encompasses this year really well, you know, Hades 2 was a great game, but we've had it for a little bit. It's a really straightforward sequel. The one that isn't like that is Hollow Knight. I love it. I love Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight gets my vote. Will it win? Absolutely not. Clair Obscur, I think, will win everything it's nominated for. Spoiler alert. Sorry. If it doesn't win something, I'm going to be like up and like screaming and cheering unless it loses something that it really shouldn't have. You know what I mean? Like, it really shouldn't be losing score. It really shouldn't be losing art direction. You know, even if it loses like game direction, there's not much better ones that I want it to go to anyways. So I don't think it's going to win or lose there either. So yeah, this year, I think the actual game of the year, you know, the 6 that we're looking at, this is a really good lineup. This is like the best it possibly could have been. Bar for like Blueprints in here somewhere as well. The nominees overall, I think, were really bad. I think there were a lot of like missed things about stuff because they're just like, they're voting down the ballot of the games that they like the most. You know, Yote and Split Fiction just showing up in categories that they really shouldn't, in my opinion. Clair Obscur just getting everywhere, where I think it probably should have missed a couple of them, especially in the indie categories. I'm happy with this lineup, but I'm not happy with the overall nominations. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Game awards are in a couple of days. We'll see if Clair Obscur actually goes 10 for 10. I think it probably will. I think it's going to smash everything. Everyone's going to be voting for it. It plays the industry really well. They love this. Journalists love this game. So that's it. It's all been done and dusted since April. Nothing else was ever going to win Game of the Year. Sorry to say. Clair Obscur, congratulations. By the way, if you're not actually here from my other channel, please go check that out. I just put out like a 50-minute, like super edited labor of love project. Go watch that. Go watch that. In fact, I know it's the end of the video. Go watch this before you watch this one, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye. Peace. Bye-bye.